Hi everyone, welcome again to this week's Coffee Talk. Again, it's brought to you by Ray Business Centre, Mayneline Financial Services and Renouf and Partners. Now today, we're going to have a bit of a chat about a new ETF brought into the market by Van Eck called ESPO or ESPO. Now to tell us a bit more about this new ETF, I've brought along again, Damon Gosson from Van Eck, and he'll tell us a bit more about it. So welcome aboard, Damon. Thanks for coming on again, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Steve.
No, it's a pleasure. So before we start, I'll just get through a couple of disclaimers. So it's general advice. It's not personal advice. I have a read of that. And it's a little bit of a bio about yourself, Damon, and also some information from Van Eck about some disclaimers there. So we'll get into it. So Damon, tell us about it. What is ESPO?
Okay. Well, ESPO or ESPO,
Yep.
which is the ASX code for our latest exchange traded fund, is the Van Eck Vectors Video Gaming and Esports ETF. And so ESPO is an Australian first in that it offers investors the unique opportunity to invest in the largest, the largest video gaming and esports companies in the world. So we talk about it being a pure play exposure in the sense of there's 25 stocks, but they actually have to generate at least 50% of their revenue from video gaming and esports. So why that's important is a company like Microsoft has the Xbox. That's a fairly minor part of Microsoft's overall business, and so Microsoft is excluded. Something like Sony with the PlayStation, likewise, that's excluded. So it's very much a dedicated exposure to video gaming and esports.
Yeah, I suppose with my kids, they love it, particularly gaming on Xbox, and it's just it's an industry I suppose that's going to get bigger and bigger.
Absolutely. So the growth has been staggering over the years. So it's I guess there's a relevancy factor in that. Sure, with lockdowns at a global level and or restrictions driving people towards, I guess, web-based content and online content, that has supported the business. But it's very much a structural shift that's been in place for many years now in terms of the growth trajectory of the companies in this space.
Okay, all right. So tell us a little about the industry. Esports, gaming, how big is it, all that sort of stuff.
Well, a lot of people are really surprised to hear how big the industry is, and so in terms of there's two segments to this broader strategy. There's the video gaming, and then there's the esports companies. And so I'll start off with the video gaming. Video gaming, there are 2.7 billion gamers globally. To put those numbers into context, so 2.7 billion for video gaming.
Yep.
Only 2.5 billion, I say only, there's 2.5 billion people with Facebook accounts. There's 1.5 billion people with Apple iDevices, and a couple of 100 million with Netflix subscriptions as well. So video gaming is an enormous area. In terms of the esports, in terms of audience numbers, that's quickly approaching 500 million, and we'll punch through that well and truly in the coming few years as well. So in 2019, the audience numbers for esports was around 450 million, which, to put that in context as well, that's more than American football and rugby combined. So when we talk about this broader industry, it's actually already bigger than the whole music and movie industry combined from a revenue perspective. Like I said, the lockdowns have supported the industry and have made it, I guess, put it on the radar for a lot of investors, but it's one that's been growing heavily for many years. So video gaming, revenue growth in gaming companies has grown by 13% per annum since 2015. For esports, the revenue growth has been closer to 30%. I think it's 28% per annum since 2015 as well. So these are really, really big numbers.
Yep. No, for sure. So So with the esports and gaming, I did read somewhere, I think that from Van Eck provided this, was it right that the music industry and the movie industry gross or turnover was about 50 billion, is that right? And then esports and gaming was about 150 billion. Am I right in saying that?
It's even higher than that. I think the expectation is that I think that's right. I think the revenue in video gaming is around 150 billion, which is expected to go to 200 billion in the next few years. I think by 2023, I think the research suggests that's where that's going to be at as well. So it's going to be quadruple the size of that music and movie industry.
It's amazing, isn't it? And also too, I think it was the demographic is a younger demographic, so they're not going to go away anytime soon. And they're going to hang in there for a long time, I'd imagine, and just get bigger and more popular.
Yeah, so we see it as a structural trend. So yeah, it's a theme that we think makes a hell of a lot of sense longer term because of these. I guess like you say, a younger demographic. It's a growing space, and yeah. So the other thing we kind of remind investors as well. So obviously, it is a technology thematic. Technology has been a real solid driver of returns in recent times. Most investors do have exposure to a lot of technology, but it's more at that mega cap broader tech space, like the FANG stocks and Microsoft. So by FANGs, it's the Facebooks, Apples, Amazons, Netflix, Google, and Microsoft.
Yep.
That is an area there's been a fair bit of volatility there with investors, I guess, getting a bit concerned about some valuations.
Mm-hmm.
But what we'd say is like a broad-based technology thematic really leaves investors very much underexposed to this powerful trend of video gaming and esports in that, you take a broad-based tech type of index and gaming is a very small component of it.
So just confirming then, I think you said before, so in the ESPO or ESPO ETF, it consists of the 25 largest players in that industry. Is that right to say?
That's right. Yep.
Okay. Terrific. So how do people invest? How do they get on?
Well, being an exchange traded fund, it's very easy. So the code is ESPO. That's the ASX code.
Yep.
So you can buy and sell units in ESPO just as you would any other ETF or any other share on the ASX. It's a physically backed ETF, so every stock, all 25 that sit under the hood of ESPO are physically owned by the ETF. It's fully transparent, so investors can see on our website exactly what holdings are in the fund every single day.
Sure.
So it's very easy.
So I could see how this kind of ETF would give investors a bit more diversification across their portfolio, and I think that over the long term it could add real value to any client's portfolio. So anything else you want to add to it, Damon, or you pretty much covered it all?
I think we've really covered it well there. So thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak a bit about this really exciting new area for us.
Thanks very much, mate. I really appreciate your time again. And if anybody is interested in knowing a little bit more about ESPO, contact either myself at Mayneline Financial, Adam Renouf at Renouf & Partners, or Alex at Array Business Centre. Thanks again, and we'll be back next week with another coffee talk. Cheers.